You know what? I believe the ideal landing pages for a local service business like a plumber, real estate agent, attorney, garage door repair, chiropractor, anyone who offers a local service. You know what? I think the ideal landing pages ranking on your name in Google. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to another edition of the Coach U Show, where we interview experts that share their knowledge on how they get stuff done. Today, we have a funnel-making landing page wizard, Danny Leibrandt of fullfunnels.co. Danny, how you doing?
Great, Dennis. How about you?
Doing pretty awesome. You know, we first met on Twitter, and you said that you were going to go hard and start producing a ton of content on Twitter. And I think in the last year, you've grown from almost nothing to 9,000 followers, and more important, a ton of engagement. What's the secret behind that? Because most people, they suck on Twitter.
Oh man, there's a lot to it. I mean, I'd say number one, most important is just consistency. Like you see a lot of people only stick with it for, a week or two, and that'll never get them anywhere. So the first most important point for me was just sticking to 3 posts a day minimum. So no matter what, if I was like starving, it didn't matter. I had to get a post up. I had to get 3 posts up, and also getting 2 threads up a week, which I, didn't really stick to, but that was also pretty important. So I'd say number 1, consistency. And I'd say number 2, connections. So what I was doing was making about 10 to 20 connections with people a day. So, I'd literally just go through my feed, find people that were similar to me, whether that be in follower count or mentality or whatever it was. And I'd genuinely just make friends. And through this, I'd have a baseline of engagement on my posts. So back then, I'd say it was a lot easier to grow a Twitter account. Mm-hmm. Your feed was mostly consistent of the people that you follow. Like that was mostly it. Now there's a For You page, so it's a little more tough. But back then, basically all these guys that I was connecting with and being friends with were liking my stuff. So I really had a baseline of like 50 likes at one point on all my posts.
How do you do that on Twitter? Is it because you have an audience of SaaS founders or a lot of the money Twitter agency sorts of folks? I feel like you've built an audience around that, but most people don't know how to build an audience, even though if they're willing to post every day.
I'd say part of it is kind of my unique writing style and just personality. I again credit it a lot to copywriting, just the way that you convey yourself. It's not so much about the message, but it's how you convey the message. And I feel like I was really great at that because I was, just learning copywriting 24/7. Copywriting was basically my life. And that translates incredibly to Twitter. And you combine great copywriting with, I think, a great personality, and you make magic.
So Danny, I suck at copywriting and I don't have much of a personality. Is this something I can learn, or is it just kind of you're born with it?
Yes. I mean, to an extent, you can be born with it. Like, naturally people are better at all kinds of things, but anyone can learn copywriting. Anyone can get better at copywriting. And also everyone is unique in their own way. So I don't think you can really have a bad personality. You just have to leverage what makes you different.
And so what is it about you that makes you different? What's your unique differentiator?
I'd say I've been through a good amount of hardship. Nothing crazy, but I've learned a lot of values, such as, going through treacherous football and, getting my heart like severely broken. I'd say those 2 things really, really shape my mentality. And part of it is that I have no excuses. So I've almost been born into this life where I don't have any outs. Like I've had basically a perfect childhood, great parents, good family. And I just feel like it's all on me. Like I have absolutely no excuses. I have greatness in my ancestry. Like my uncle was an MLB player. He pitched in 2 World Series. And then
wow. So you got some athletic skills, some genes.
Yeah.
That's nice.
My great uncle was a field marshal in World War II. So yeah.
You're destined for greatness.
I feel it, man. I do.
Now, based on all that, you dropped out of college recently, or you finished college.
Yes.
Talk about that.
So I went to Arizona State, and right away I was really not a fan. So I was a big partier in high school. And by the time I got to college, it just really wasn't for me. Like all these guys are drinking and smoking every day, every night, and it just really wasn't for me. So most nights I just be posted up in the dorm room working on something, trying to make money, trying to, just figure out things. So what really led me to drop out was finally, forging my path. So I really didn't know what I wanted to do early on in college. All I knew is that I didn't want to go to college. So at the end of high school, I was telling my parents, I really don't want to go. Like, I know it's not for me. And my parents were like, well, like, what else are you going to do? And I had no idea. So that's just the go-to option for at least people in my area.
But so you went to college anyway, just because your parents said so,
Yeah.
like most young adults.
Yeah. Well, I really had no idea what I wanted to do. So they were like, well, like, you say you want to make money online, but that sounds preposterous. So if you're going to college.
So I saw your pictures in your dorm room and whatnot. It looks like a disaster, like broken toilets and stuff, like living in what's the word for it? Like a shit show,
I called it
right?
a hellhole.
Hellhole, yeah. Like I wouldn't live in a place like that. It's all beaten down. It's like what homeless people live in.
Yeah, it was pretty brutal. And you think like, the college experience, and we're paying 50 grand a year, at least we're paying 50 grand a year for that.
Yeah.
And it was awful conditions. The first few months of college, me and my suite mates were like brutally sick, and we weren't even going to parties.
Why was that? Just living conditions?
There's always some sickness going around. I think we were thinking that it was from the vents or from the dining hall or from both.
Dang, that room you're in, the dormitories looked like they were just trashed, like
It was
an
bad.
abandoned house. Yeah.
Yeah, I know.
Really bad. Okay. So you're glad to get out of there. And so now you're free and you have your agency helping other agencies and SaaS founders. What's that like now?
It's going well. I've already built a few landing pages, and the most recent landing page that I built actually has 12% conversions this last week, just through Twitter traffic alone. So, that's doing great. And I'm continuing doing that. I'm also thinking of switching more to local business. I feel like there's more potential in that. The agency owners in the money Twitter sphere aren't, too abundant with money. Like a lot of them are kind of just starting out, and all the people that already do have money already have a good landing page.
Yep.
And, landing page is kind of a hard selling point to someone who just has it in their Twitter bio versus, local business. They're looking to, show up on like first on Google and, have a great looking website.
You know what? I believe the ideal landing pages for a local service business, like a plumber, real estate agent, attorney, garage door repair, chiropractor, anyone who offers a local service. You know what I think the ideal landing page is?
What?
Ranking on your name in Google. Because if you're a local service business, the number one place you want to rank in is maps, right? So if I've got like broken toilet, Tempe, Arizona, then Google's going to show 3. And I want to be one of those 3 in the map. But I also want my name to show up, my business name, my company name. I want my LinkedIn. I want my website. I want videos that I've made about that thing. So if I'm a real estate agent in Chicago, then, I want people to see the houses that I've sold. I want them to see, I want them to see my work. So technically the definition of a landing page is wherever people land. So whatever webpage they go to is a landing page. It's not even like, because most local service businesses, they already have a website. So then if let's say I run a med spa and I do cosmetic surgery and Botox and fillers and things like that, and I wanted your help, Danny, would you build me a landing page, or would you help me tune my website to rank, or what would you do?
I'd give you a full package. I'd help you rank. I'd build you a new website. let's see. I'd also run you Google ads and
Okay.
potentially email marketing as well.
Nice. So you're driving leads. So it's driving the traffic more than, I mean, of course, having the page they go to, but you have to drive traffic to it as well. But most successful local service businesses, 99% of them have a website already, right?
Yeah.
So then what would you do?
So yeah, I'd either just optimize their current one, or I'd just go straight to Google ads, SEO, and potentially email marketing.
So local service businesses, there's so many types, and every category, like a dentist is different than a garage door repair guy. Have you chosen a particular niche in local services?
I'm thinking more towards like home services and like property management. I
Okay.
actually know a few people that are doing that kind of thing. So my dad has a flooring company that I could do it for.
Yep.
My buddy has a construction company that I could do it
Yep.
for. So
Yep.
that could be a good start.
Have you heard of Tommy Mello?
No.
Tommy Mello runs Vertical Track, and he has $1 billion home services company. He runs A1 Garage. You probably see his billboards all over the place. Well, definitely if you're in Arizona, you would see that. Or if in
Yeah.
Chicago, I think he's got locations. He's in 27 states.
Wow.
So he also has the best-selling book, Home Services Millionaire. So
Okay.
all the folks that run home services business, I think he's got 70,000 on his YouTube. He's got a podcast. So people who run home services businesses, they follow Tommy Mello. He's the number one guy in that space. So you'd want to follow him, and then you'd want to follow other folks. Like in flooring, the top agency, I think, is Service Legend. And that's run by Ryan Davis and Marco Cipolla, and they're actually out of Scottsdale.
Okay.
So they'd probably be good folks to, and yeah, Ryan started Cardinal Flooring and Coatings, and he took that from nothing to 7 figures in just 18 months.
Wow.
And told the whole story about how to do that. So you could look at the ads they're running, you could look at the content they have, and maybe invite them on your podcast. So let's say that you've got the connections in property management and in home services, especially flooring or decorative concrete, epoxy. Running things like Google ads is like a whole nother area of expertise. In addition to being able to do like WordPress and SEO and email marketing, how are you balancing between all those different things you'd have to know?
Well, I've mastered email marketing. So I was doing that for a few months. And with Google ads, I'd say part of it is, I'd say maybe 50% of it is just knowing copywriting itself. And, I'm very well versed in copywriting, so that's not a problem. I'd really just kind of practice with my dad's business, because that would be the first thing that I do.
Yeah.
And from there, I'll, figure out how it goes. And obviously I'll watch like hours of YouTube. I'll get super ingrained into it. And I've also learned a good amount about SEO. I started a blog like a while ago. I think it was actually anonymous, but I was trying to do like affiliate marketing off this. This was like over a year ago now, when I was just listening to like any fad that I was told. So I'd go on YouTube and I'd see an ad that's like, you can make 20K a month with your blog. And I'm like, no way. And then I do it, and, had absolutely zero visitors, zero money. So, back to reality. And then, I was back to the drawing board.
Yeah. The people that are making money are selling courses on teaching other people how to make money.
Yeah. It's pretty funny. Ironic.
You help make them make money.
Yeah.
All right, cool. So what can I do to help you?
So could you just give me a little background on what you do? So I know you're like a marketing pro and you've done tons of lectures, but can you give me like kind of an elevator pitch about you?
I'm a search engine engineer. I built the
Okay.
analytics at Yahoo 25 years ago. And I discovered the power of mentorship just kind of accidentally, because I had the CEO of American Airlines mentor me, and I got to meet a whole bunch of other people that opened a lot of doors for me. Pretty much everything I got, I never earned. I don't want to say I'm glad, but I'm happy and totally honest about admitting that, because a lot of people are going to think that, they could look at the projects that I've been involved in and say that I'm some kind of amazing person, and I'm not. I'm not smarter. I'm not a harder worker. I can be lucky, I guess. Like having the Golden State Warriors as a client, for 5.5 years and running their ads was pretty cool. You know, being able to hang out with Steph Curry, that's cool. See his orange Lamborghini. And arguably I was good at ads, right? And we ran Facebook ads and Google ads, and we drove a lot of sales. And we did it for, you know, Red Bull and Nike and other folks like that. All of it has been inbound. So when we got Nike for analytics, they came to us and they said, we saw what you did for Adidas for the Olympics. We saw your analytics. We saw how you're running ad campaigns on their shoes. We saw what you did for football. Can you meet with us at our headquarters in Portland? And let's just talk about your capabilities, which is another way of saying, hey, we're looking at hiring you. And I said, why, sure. So the first time I flew out there to Nike, and it was my dream kind of job. I had applied to Nike when I was 18, and they wouldn't even return, you know, a letter or a call or whatever. And I just couldn't get in. I was just so, you know, what is the word, like jaded on working in a big corporation, because I thought, well, I'm never going to get in because, you know, everyone else has connections and I had good grades and all that kind of stuff, but I just couldn't get in. But, you know, fast forward a few years later, and we've got Nike paying us over $1 million for ads and analytics, and they came to me. Starbucks came to us. Red Bull came to us. All these, you know, we spent $17 million for Starbucks for Frappuccino to launch that, and, you know, did all kinds of cool campaigns. And every one of those, they came to us, because I don't know how to do cold outreach. I don't know how to, let's hop on the phone and talk for 15 minutes and see if we're a fit and have a strategic, you know, whatever. Like, I don't do that. And so I've learned that by sharing your knowledge and by elevating other people, whatever you believe in God, you believe in karma, it comes back to you. It absolutely does. And my whole life is living proof that I'm just one guy and it's come back to me. So I've thought, well, how do I maximize this? Let's create more jobs. So I've been to Pakistan and the Philippines and Kosovo. I've met leaders of these other countries, and they want to work with us to create training for digital marketing. So we have several thousand agencies, mostly in the US, that want to learn how to grow, and most are in local services. So I speak at Josh Nelson's event, 7-Figure Mastermind in Miami. People follow Vendasta, which is one of the top, they're probably the largest white label agency software company out there. They've got 800 people, raised a ton of money. They're based in Canada, but our training is in there too. Or a lot of agencies are using Go High Level. I'm on the Go High Level blog, right? We know all the different people we all know each other. So the way to create jobs at scale is to help folks who have agencies and are starting agencies like you. So I want to see you succeed. I've done zero cold outreach. And this is how I get someone like Ashley Furniture, who's the largest furniture manufacturer on the planet, largest furniture retailer, coming to me saying, hey, we want help selling more furniture. And frankly, we don't know what we're doing with Google ads and Facebook ads. We have all these other agencies, but we would like you to come in and audit and take it over. And this is before I've ever talked to any of them. You build the social proof by who you're with, by what you've done. But I think if you're hanging out on a money Twitter is not your audience. You're not trying to, they don't, like you said, they don't have any money. So why are you trying to impress? It's like the high school cafeteria. Why would you want to hang out there?
No, it's true. Well, that's a pretty recent realization that I've made, because I was fully set on making landing pages for agency owners, and I've been doing outreach almost every day, and you know, the responses have been pretty slim.
Yeah, because they're not your audience. It's like fishing in the swamp. Like, you're not going to get what you want there. And home service businesses, the average home service business owner is a millionaire, and their internet presence is garbage. True. They have a website, and it was built by some dude 10 years ago or whatnot. Yeah. So you don't need to build them a new website, but the number one thing you can do is do an audit of their SEO, which takes 3 minutes to do, and point out how their location service pages are terrible. Point out how they're not distributing internal link structure. Pointing out how with their Google My Business, which is now called Google Business Profile, they haven't added in their services. They haven't added in Q&A. They haven't created the free Google website that comes with it, which obviously ranks. They've not taken their best testimonials and feedback from the different texts that are on the job and turned them into YouTube videos that they embed on the webpage that help them rank for location service pages. So You know how location service pages work. Like, so maybe I have Chicago, concrete floors, but then I want Elmhurst concrete floors and Oak Brook concrete floors and other suburb concrete floors. I need a web page for every single one of those. And then I can use ChatGPT to generate or enhance what I already have there. And they're not doing that. So if you do that as the service, part of the service that you provide, but you're able to show that generates more traffic and you're running local service ads on top of that, then you're able to measure to the ROI, not to the thing that you do. So the thing that you do is copywriting or run ads or whatever, but you're really selling based on the result, not what you do. So if you publish that process and you show step-by-step how you've done it for your dad's business, then other people that will say like, you know what, my business is a lot like, Danny's dad. I think this process step-by-step is something that will work for me. I'm going to sign up for Danny, and maybe I'll just have a 15-minute call and talk to him. But at that point, you're not trying to close anybody. They're pre-closed. You're like my analogy is like in the emergency room. People come into the emergency room. The surgeons there aren't trying to close you on surgery for your gunshot wound. We're trying to diagnose and trying to do triage because you're already an expert because they already came to you, right? You see the difference there.
Wow, man. No, that was just a pretty big mind opener. So thank you for that.
Yeah. And then as you're doing it, you document everything that you're doing, good, bad, and ugly, because just as you're doing work, you might come to a realization, or maybe it's just, whatever it is, as long as you record, you don't have to use it, but as long as you're just recording it, then you'll be able to go back and pick out the things that you did and share the journey, sharing how you're doing it. You're not selling, you're sharing literally, hey, this is what's working. This thing didn't work. I tried this and it didn't work, or here's a technique, and you're just publishing all that. And then other people are going to notice that. And the beauty of social media and search engines is that other people that are searching for the how-to, if they're owners of home service businesses, they're going to see that and they're going to see how hard you're working. They're going to see that you're putting in that work every single day.
Awesome, man. It's really been great talking to you. I really appreciate your time, and, I hope to stay in touch and keep talking to you.
It's all up to you. It's whatever you choose.
I'll definitely be in touch, man.
Awesome, Danny. Glad to connect.